Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vay, Chuck, and this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the 17th most popular wine program on the internets. Mott, we've cracked the top 2. Actually, we've been stuck at 17, right?
We were 13 last week.
Oh man, we're slipping. You know, I was away for a week. I think we're slipping. And I'll tell you one thing that's not slipping is the New York Jets, because my friends, we are signing everybody. Just wanted to give a big goodbye to Jonathan Vilma. Was a nice guy, class act. We're gonna miss you, Jonathan, for your, attitude more so than your play. A little overrated, in my opinion. All my Jet fans, you want to go to jetsinsider.com and see my comments on Vilma through the years. I'm not just saying it now that he's gone. So even when nobody was down on Vilma, I was. Anyway, huge shout out to Fanica and Jenkins and Pace and Woody, all joining the Jets. We're signing Mott. We are throwing the cash around. We're throwing the Benjamins around so we can go after you, the New York Giants. We're going to get a ring. We're going to go back to back. This is going to be like a hockey 94-95. Remember the Rangers won the Cup, then the Devils. Giants won the Super Bowl. We're winning it next year. So I'm very, very excited about that. No comments from you, Mott. I've been gone too long. You've got to be nice to me. 4 great wines today. A really cool show. I'm super excited about it. Got a Russian River Chardonnay. Got an Italian wine that everybody's been asking me for because it's this 2006 version of a wine we did from 2004. We've got a Canadian wine in the hizzy, a Masters champion, Mike Weir, right? So this should be really interesting. I'm excited about that. And we have a 93-point J. Miller Mourvedre, which I thought would be fun because we don't talk about Mourvedre that often, so I'm excited about that. Before I get into anything, I want to give out 2 huge internet website shout-outs. Mott, link it up, baby! That felt good. Haven't done that in a while. Huge shout-out to Twitter, which I'm completely addicted to. I was just at FOA, at the Future of Web Apps, and God, Twitter, a lot of fun. I mean, Twitter does go down a lot. Poor Bling has a lot of work to do, but a huge shout-out to Twitter. I'm really enjoying it. Helped me find a lot of my friends during this weekend at FOA. Very useful app, and so with the fact that I've maxed out on friends on Facebook, Mott, 4,999. It actually doesn't let you get to 5,000. It's 4,999. So with 140 or 200 at this point sitting in the queue, so a couple people are dropping off. I get it, a little over the top, right? So I'll keep putting people in, but great chance to follow me on Twitter. Link it up right over here. Having a lot of fun with that, and you might hear a little bit of music in the background. Big shout out to Pandora. Mott, have you tried Pandora yet? Oh, it is awesome. Pandora.com. Link that up. An absolutely awesome. It's a radio streaming thing on the internet, but it's a little different. You put in an artist you like I put in Diana Ross. I know, here we go. Why did I say it, right? Anyway, and I get all this other stuff. It helps me remember a lot of songs I like. Then I can go buy it on iTunes or get it for free somehow. Pirate Bay, what? Anyway, so that's out of the way. But huge shout out to Pandora, one of the best sites for me of the year. Just enjoying it quite a bit. If you want to listen to different stuff, I'm really on top of that. So, I thought I'd give a little internet love out there. And now I want to give a big shout out to Alan Mann wants to give a big shout out. He wants to say he loves his wife. You like that, right, Mott? It's pretty cool. You know what? While we're at it, Lizzie, I love you. I'm going to say it as well. Let's get into the vino because I've been yapping a whole lot. Lynmar, 2005 Russian River Valley Chardonnay. This is made by Hugh Chappelle, who's an unbelievably good winemaker. 91 points, Connoisseur's Guide to California Wine, $26 US. 26. Eric Coleman's number, who's also leaving the New York Jets, went to sign with the Falcons. So happy trails, Eric Coleman. Real good guy. Took a picture with him once. Like him a lot. Good guy. Had a great rookie season. So we'll say goodbye to him as well. Lots of football talk. It's going to be an awesome fall if we keep signing people the way we're signing them. Mott, look at the golden color. And that's what you're getting. You're getting obnoxious Hulk Hogan 1984 golden locks color. Just beautiful yellow, rainbow yellow color on, just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, come on, right? Pretty.
Very good.
Pour a little bit for all the homies that are not with us. A little couple for the maniacs that have not going to be able to watch today's show. I'm there for you as well. And it's time for a sniffy sniff. Right, you got to try Pandora.
I have tried it.
You did try it. I knew you did. Because everybody in the office has been going wild, so. Beautiful nose. I get a really gorgeous apple mixed with, think about an apple with some popcorn, the buttered popcorn, the butter dispenser from the movie theater onto your golden green apple. Cut the apple in half so you get some scent and put the buttered popcorn, the butter there, and you're going to get this kind of scent. Really pretty. Almost like a Pampers kind of component, but not like the poop inside, just the actual Pampers, fresh out of the box. I get a little bit of that. Not smelling that super, interesting though. I got it. AJ used to poop his pants, it's pretty funny. I used to take care of it. It's good like that, older brother. Let's give it a whirl. Good body. Great complexity, nice and smooth. Wow, really nice body. Great fleshiness on the palate. What I mean by that is, it's got, I don't want to use fleshiness, weight. It's just very heavy. Almost doesn't, water milk in your mouth component. You know what water tastes like, you know what milk tastes like, but the weight that it gives to your palate, this has very solid weight to it. Really nice buttered popcorn, a little hint of oak, little oak monster going on there. A lot of butter, a lot of oak, a little cedar, a little too acidic on the back end, a little rotten apple-esque flavor as it finishes, and kind of disappears. I'm a little bit disappointed on the finish. All in all, a solid little Chardonnay. Yeah, the finish is really a problem. Interesting. A wine that really delivered for most of the way, but I think falls apart a little bit at the end. Not horrible. Still, an 88 plus solid Chardonnay. Nothing to be embarrassed about in my world at all. This is my palate. Remember, a lot of you are watching for the first time after my week of traveling. I know a lot of people are seeing their first live show, so, well, not live, but first time I'm back from my travels, and I want you to know a couple core things. One, don't listen to a word I'm saying. This is a very personal product. You've got to like what you like. Nobody tells you what foods you're supposed to like, so remember that. Number two, try different things. Yes, stop drinking Yellowtail, Santa Margarita, and Kendall Jackson over and over and over until you bleed out of your face. And finally, most of all, listen to everything I'm telling you. I'm just kidding. Trust yourself, try different things, and always explore. It makes it a lot of fun. This falls apart for me. 88 points, solid stuff. Would recommend it to some people. I think the finish is something that bothers me, but some people, can get away with it. I mean, just didn't kill me. Could have been better. It was really looking good there for a minute. Tomorrow, the big show. The anniversary pack. I know 800 of you have this. We'll be watching together tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to go up pretty late tomorrow, probably like 6, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep that in mind. Really excited about that. There is, if you know, I am not chilling anything that's chillable in the secret pack. Just keep that in mind. Also, open them all for about an hour, hour and a half ahead of time if you can get away with it. So that's the secret pack. And let's move on. The Altesino, Rosso di Altesino 2006. We went nutso for the 04 and loved it a lot. A lot of people did. This is maybe the single most requested wine in Wine Library TV history. $14 US, 80% Sangiovese, 10% Cabernet Sauvignon, 10% Merlot, and I'm telling you, there are people, I mean, I would say I'm in the ballpark of 150 to 200 requests in this wine. So a lot of people enjoyed the 04, which we liked on the show, and obviously led to a lot of people trying it and agreeing, which is always nice. Better than, you're a jerk off, Gary. Get out of my face. That was cool. Sniffy sniff. Coming through with some really nice sour cherry. I get a little plum component coming through as well. There's like a copper component, almost like a rustiness. Almost like a rusted bumper meets sour cherries on the nose. So kind of interesting. I don't know why I felt like I needed to spit there. Let's give it a whirl. Now this comes from Tuscany, which is, a really great area in the world. A lot of people enjoy it. These wines are meant to be everyday drinkers. Tuscan wines are a lot of fun. This is an early drinking wine. Again, 80% Sangiovese, which is a predominant grape in the area. This wine is okay. It doesn't have the oomph that the last vintage had. Let me just jump into it one more time. There's a transition flavor. Originally, it starts with the nice sour cherries that we talked about on the nose. It goes into a little bit of like a cocoa powder. Like, remember the quick mix? Just the mix itself, not the cocoa, but the mix itself had a distinct flavor. If you ever tasted that, goes into a little bit of that. Then it gets really sour on the finish. The transition from that mid-palate cocoa flavor to the finish gets really sour and awkward, greeny, almost like green leaves, cabbage components, which I normally don't mind, but these are like kind of unfocused and not that true. It's almost like an afterthought, by accident. It's almost like green vegetables that you like to eat, whether a pickle or a cucumber or a celery stick, and then maybe like the green, dirty, you know, flowering from a carrot. Like, that's not really meant to be eaten, even though I kind of fool around with it sometimes and try it. That flavor, which is a little bit more unpleasant because it's not really what you're looking for, is kind of what's coming through on the finish. Gets a little scatterbrained at the end, doesn't really know what it's trying to do. You like that, Mont? And gets unfocused. Definitely not as good as the 04, from what I remember. Oh yeah, the finish is not strong. I'm going to score this wine 86 plus points. I really am kind of devastated right now for everybody because a lot of people are really pushing me to do it, but I'm sorry. To me, you should try it for yourself. See where your palate is. But I think this is the kind of wine that I feel pretty confidently a lot of people aren't going to go bonkers over because the finish is so off for what most people like in a finish in wine. So let's move on. Sometimes I like to smell the glass after the wine's out. You get a lot on the bouquet that way. I almost get a little bit of like a high C Kool-Aid thing going on there. Mike Weir Estate Winery 2006 Cabernet Merlot blend. This comes from Niagara, the Niagara Peninsula, where they're making some awesome wines. This is a VQA, excuse me. 53% Cab, 30% Merlot, and actually 17% Cab Franc. This wine rolls in at $18 US. There's slightly under 2,000 cases made of this wine, so small production. Big shout out to the I almost went I might as well give a big shout out to the CKCs, the College Kid Crew. Big shout out to them, but huge shout out to the Canadian contingency. We continue to explode in Canada, and now I hear that a documentary on the CBC is coming out March 20th, Mont, that we might be in. I don't know, very possible. Let's see what's going on. Off to a tough start. 2 Pazes right now. Let's throw up 4 Z's combined, so I'm off to a tough little start. Let's see what's going on here. Some nice color. As you can see, nice and dark and cherry. Let's give this wine a sniffy sniff. Hopefully the Masters champion can come through for us. Usually these, golfing wines tend to let us down, but let's give it a sniffy sniff. Right off the bat, it's got my interest because this comes with a little bit more of a vegetal attack, and now, guys like Dumbface who know they don't like it are going to walk away and say, let's skip to the next wine, but there's a romance to these vegetables that I just adore. You smell it, Mont? Yeah, there's a lot going on here. This is really interesting. It must be coming from the Cab Franc, which always brings that kind of bell pepper thunder. Great bell peppers coming through. Tabasco sauce, vegetables, just a big old mixed salad. I get a little bit of radish, and there's some charcoal coming through as well on this nose. It's really aromatically exciting, and I'm pumped about that. You go AE on my ass, I'm excited. So right now, I'm pumped. This is gorgeous. I can just smell this for a little while. A little chili pepper. Yeah, chili pepper's really coming through. Really interesting. Great nose. I'm really into it. Very vegetal, not fruit-driven. There is a little plum. Let's give it a whirl. Where is my hanger steak with potatoes right now? Woo! Let me do it again. Woo! Dusty Road style. This has tannins for days, and it doesn't quit. Big, massive, really tiny. I'm like, it's like, you run into the ocean too quick and everything kind of. I mean, this is really squeezing it up. All up in my grill piece, all up in my mouth. This is really dry, and if you love dry wines, you're going to adore this. I get heavy concrete dust. If you've ever been part of construction, when we built this massive wine library, we got plenty of that. So I know exactly what concrete dust is coming through. This is a very difficult wine. Really up my alley, really against the grain for a lot of people. I mean, I'm going to go over here. I mean, it's off the charts for a lot of people. There's a lot of people who not like this style. I do like this style. Let me jump into it a little more. First of all, this wine needs to be put away for 4 to 6 years. Second of all, this is a food wine. You need big sauces, big bones, big shot animals to eat along with this. I'm sorry, that's just the truth. I mean, this needs wild boar with heavy mustard sauce, big potatoes, radishes, I don't know, I just like radishes, and all that, and you still might be overpowered by this wine. This wine brings serious oomph. I don't want to say thunder. One of the most controversial wines I've ever had on WLTV, because I really don't know exactly where to go with this. From the standpoint, you know what? This is even too, not green or vegetable, but it's too tannic for me even. God, this is like more tannic than most 2005 Bordeaux's I had. Barrel samples. I'm going to score this wine an 88 question mark. Because I've seen question marks before on wine reviews, especially back in the early 90s from Parker. He hasn't done that as much. But because this is a confusing wine. I mean, this is so different, so awkward, so tight, so dry, so loaded with tannins, so loaded with potential. I mean, this is why scouts get paid a lot of money in sports, right? This is that 17-year-old that's like 6'9", but can't like do a layup. And you're like, dude, what are you doing out there? Like, how do you not know how to do a layup? Has that raw potential to be a superstar, dominant player. You know, Latrell Sprewell, I know he chokes people, but you know what? He didn't start playing until he was a late junior in high school. He made it to the NBA. Jamal Crawford, you know, Knicks guard, only played for like his senior year of high school, and then played freshman year at Michigan, and then went to the NBA. Raw talent, the thing that absolutely burns GMs and gets scouts all excited. This is what this wine has. 3-4 years in a cellar, or 6, 7, 10 hours decant. You know what? We're doing it for tomorrow. Ow. We are absolutely doing it. We're doing it, Mott. Tomorrow's show, there's going to be a little bonus. We are going to taste this wine after about 12 hours of decanting. We just have to. Just going to put it over here. It's going to sit there until tomorrow. We're going to let it decant for 24 hours. We'll see what's happening, because this is a very controversial wine. Very interesting. Very. That was awesome. That's so different. But we're off to a very, I mean, this was supposed to be home run city. That first Chardonnay, somebody told me was a killer. Yeah, a killer in your wallet for buying something you don't want. Anyway, let's do this. Danderberg, great winery in Australia from McLaren Vale. This is their 28 Road 2005 Mourvedre. This is 93 points J. Miller, $30 US. A lot of people screaming and yelling about this wine. What's interesting about Mourvedre is you know it as Mataro in many other places, or Montestrel in Spain. So a lot of you have had connections with Mourvedre, but where it's really shining is in the Rhone region, especially when you add it with Grenache. There's just an electricity when those two guys, or gals, however you want to look at it, team up. Or one's a guy and one's a girl. Maybe that's why it's working so well. Anyway, a very over-the-top, exciting grape. I've loved a lot of Rhone versions. Some of the New World stuff gets too over-the-top. I'm a little hesitant. Let's see what the alcohol content is on this wine. This one is rolling in at, help me, Mott, 14.5% alcohol. Let's see what's going on. It's got really dark color, darkest wine of the night. Let's give this wine a snippy sniff. Big cherry and strawberry nose, a little bit of cinnamon coming through in the nose, and a heavy dose of violets. I mean, if you've not gone out to the flower store and smelled violets up close and personal, like all up in there. Like order them from 1-800-Flowers and stick them in your nose. That's going to help you quite a bit, picking up a scent that is very obvious in many wines. Every time I'm near flowers, if they have violets, I just take a little bit of a sniffy sniff. It always helps me continuously keep that thought and that nose and that bouquet in my mind. It's really coming through on this wine. Let's give it a whirl. Fruit bomb. This wine is over the top. I'm getting heavy raspberry jam, cinnamon, loaded with tar. Admit it, when they paved your road and little bubbles started poning, you remember those little tar bubbles? You'd stick in, you lick it, come on. No? I would hit those tar. I lived in a new development, so they were always paving, and it'd be like 100 degrees, and there'd be tar bubbles, and we'd only stick them, and they'd pop, you'd be all pumped, and of course it was like brown, and you're like, you know, that's how I rolled. It's helped my palate, I think. Anyway, loaded with tar, tons of raspberry jam, very hot, explosive, over-the-top fruit. If you love New World bombs, you're going to love this. It's totally up your alley. It's got great fruit, very focused, well-made wine. But it's boring for me, and it's a little bit... Nah, it's got a good finish. It's an interesting finish. You've got to be aware there's a line of sharp tannins on the finish. It gets a little hint of bitterness on the finish. Not too bad. The cherries are, the strawberries are very pleasant. Almost like strawberry spray. Almost like strawberry flavored Florine when you get your teeth cleaned, Monty, you know, and you get the strawberry flavored Florine. Kind of interesting. Little strawberry flavored dentist stuff going up on this wine. Not bad. Not a 93-point wine for me. More of an 89-point wine for me. Really solid. Tough show. I mean, we didn't even give out a 90, did we? You know, it is what it is. 89-point wine. Could oomph up to being a 90-point wine over time. To me, not my style. Could be a 90-point wine to you if you like the fruit bombs. But still, I think, once again, here's where I get worried about fruit bombs. And here's why I don't particularly really love them. I think you can find your fix somewhere else. You know what I mean? I think for every $30 to $80 fruit bomb out there, there's plenty of $15 wines that bring that kind of thunder. You know, when you're looking for a little bit more charisma, a little more personality, that's why I like the vegetal stuff. But this was just weird. So interesting. Dying to see what this does tomorrow. So that's how I roll on the fruit. You know, there's Old World, there's New World wines. The Old World wines tend to be more rustic, a little manure, a little green pepper. Tend to veer towards those wines. I love fruit bombs. I've been liking them more, a little bit more lately. Just when they're one-dimensional, I feel like there's a $15 version of this wine. That's the problem. Anything else, Matt? Question. I know I have to ask a question today, but I guess that's it. This is awesome. It's always good to be back. I'm not as pumped because the show wasn't that good. You know, the wines weren't good. The wines really, this is gonna, I don't even want to deal with the emails about this. Question of the day. You know, the reason I wanted to really throw out Twitter and Pandora is all day yesterday, it's all I was doing at home when I got back from doing my email and really focus on that. So what is your internet obsession right now? Because nice. With a little bit of me and a whole lot of the monster, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.